Today is the day to celebrate doctors. Science is making new advances in healthcare.
And RepFest is back. Studio G has an exclusive interview, all that and more coming up.
Welcome to Studio G. My name is David Cruz.
And I'm Brianna De Leon. Thank you for joining us.
Healthcare workers and doctors are critical parts of our community, and they have been, especially for the last few years, due to the pandemic and everything. Today is Nationwide Doctors Day. So we're taking a moment to say thank you.
The observance has been around since 1933. They will help keep us safe and cure diseases. You can let your personal doctor know how much you appreciate their service by posting to social media, sending a card, or even surprising a hospital staff with goodies. Fentanyl-related deaths were up by 4% from 2020 to 2021. In the midst of a fentanyl epidemic, lace pills are affecting citizens and their families. Reporter Keaton Parita has more on this.
A constant reminder of fentanyl abuse in Las Vegas can be seen at billboards such as this throughout the valley. Fentanyl continues to pose a major problem for drug dealers and Las Vegas citizens as people continue to sell fentanyl-laced pills.
Las Vegas has had its fair share of fentanyl-related deaths early in 2022, as children as young as middle school ages have begun to access these pills, as reported by 8 News Now. Despite this, one mother has taken it upon herself to warn people throughout Las Vegas of the dangers that fentanyl presents.
First initial goal was to just get the word out, because I didn't know what it was. So I felt like, because I didn't know, there's probably a lot of other parents that don't know, and I just originally wanted to get that word fentanyl out so that people could, be like, what is it, or research it, or, So it's not, something that you go overdose and take a bunch of pills and you go to the hospital and pump your stomach and you go back home. You're not going back home. So people need to understand that it just takes the tiny little bit and you're done.
Even with all her efforts to spread awareness, Christine Perkins doesn't feel enough is being done.
I've had Geo's billboards coming up on 6 months now, and the death rates are still going up. So there's obviously still people that either don't care or don't know. I don't know which one yet, but I still feel like there's a little bit more that needs to be done versus just the billboards, because I feel like it's almost not enough.
Las Vegas is currently dealing with an influx of fentanyl-laced pills. To gain some perspective on how bad it is, pharmacist David Wynn shared what he knew.
85% of worldwide opioid usage is in the U.S. That's insane, because you got to think, like in Europe and in Asia, they're doing surgeries, they're doing all that, but they're only using 15% of it? That doesn't make sense to me.
David continued and explained how hard it really is to tell a real pill from a fake one.
Looks and everything, you're not going to be able to tell the difference at all. I mean, honestly, even as a pharmacist, sometimes on the pill bottle, it'll tell us what markings should be on there. But I mean, you can make a tablet with any type of marking on there. You're not going to be able to tell, to be honest with you. The only way you can tell is if it comes from a pharmacy.
Medical professionals can't seem to make heads or tails of what's going on. Regardless, fentanyl is still a very present danger that requires the attention of many in the state of Nevada. Reporting for UNLV, I'm Keaton Parita.
Stories like these help bring awareness to the rising issue that is fentanyl use and the dangers it brings to teenagers.
A new contraceptive for men may soon reach the public. While the pill is still in the works, human trials are anticipated to start sometime soon this year. Reporter Matthew Guanga has more on the story.
The male birth control pill is still in the works. While conducting test trials on thousands of mice, they have found it to be 99% effective without any side effects. Sperm counts have also been dramatically reduced. This is a non-hormonal medication which doesn't affect testosterone levels. This is developed to block a vitamin A producing gene that is needed for conception. When this pill is released to the public, it's important to talk to your medical provider. I'm Matthew Guanga, reporting for Studio G.
Side effects and dosage information have not been released as of right now, but the male birth control pill is planned to be used as medication rather than an emergency contraceptive.
Recipients of the Nevada Medicaid program have only 2 days to secure their healthcare provider. Studio G reporter Anna Meza has the details on how you can make those changes in time.
I'm at the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services office, where the Nevada Medicaid program helps families with low incomes obtain health care coverage here in Las Vegas. The Nevada Medicaid program notified its recipients in December 2021 that their health coverage provider may be changed. If recipients were affected by this change, they have until this March, Thursday, the 31st, to change back to their preferred provider.
If you do not change back to your preferred managed care organization, you will be locked into your new provider until January 2023. Affected recipients of Nevada Medicaid received the MCO change form from Nevada Medicaid that must be mailed out to the Nevada Medicaid office in Reno by this Thursday if you would like to change back to your original provider. You may also call your Medicaid district office at 775-687-1900 for Northern Nevada and 702-668-4200 for Southern Nevada to change providers. Another option you have is sending an email directly to Nevada Medicaid that includes your preferred MCO, your name, and Medicaid ID along with the names and IDs of other beneficiaries.
This has been Anna Meza reporting for Studio G.
Those who were affected by the change in health coverage may have to change their doctor's office, and the new plan does not include them. Nevada Medicaid has stated that those wishing to make changes after the deadline may only be approved at the discretion of their current managed care organization.
As Women's History Month nears an end, we continue our series celebrating women and their impact on our community. Studio G reporter Justine Verestiga talks to marketer working in a hospitality to dig into her relationship with the elderly.
Donnabelle Logan is a senior marketer for Brighton Hospice. Naturally, she sees a lot of elderly people during their last moments of life. She handles a lot of patients with terminal illnesses.
So mostly with hospice, we encounter most common diagnoses are cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, heart failure, and then maybe COPD patients. But what we do mainly is do an assessment and then figure out what the main diagnosis is going to be as far as like coming onto the hospice program.
Donnabelle has worked in hospice for more than 7 years. However, she remembers almost all the patients she's helped in the past. However, one patient changed the way she works in hospice today.
One day, I actually have this patient in a hospital where I saw him, and he's very much amenable to the idea of hospice and very qualified because he has a terminal illness, but he was at that very end stage. And then I remember him holding my hand and asking me, is it painful? And then of course I told him it's not going to be painful because he's going to be medicated and that he's not going to be suffering.
Although Donnabelle works with a lot of terminally ill patients, she says that there are some things that people can do while they're young to stay healthy as they get older.
I would say what you do in your teenager life or as you get older catches on to you. So you just gotta be like, take care of yourself, what you eat, what you put inside your body. Make sure that you, of course, try to exercise daily, eat healthy food, hydrate, maybe avoid the things that will eventually destroy your health, like say maybe smoking and doing other recreational drugs and all that stuff.
Celebrating Women's History Month and reporting for Studio G, I'm Justine Verestiga.
Donnabelle says if anyone is interested in working in hospice or helping the elderly, most hospices take volunteers to assist them on their last days of life. After the break, we will have our weather Studio G with I don't remember her last name. We're going to have the forecast of studio right next.
If you're a parent, you've done it all this past year. But the one thing you may not have done is take care of yourself. At Boys Town, we know that a parent's mental health is important too. Visit boystown.org/stressedout for great self-care tips for parents. You can even download an ebook to guide you and your family through self-care strategies. Because healthy parents are key to happy families.
Hi everyone and good afternoon. I'm Caldejon and I'm here with your weather for today. All right, right now today's high is going to be that 80 degrees with our wind speed up 8 miles per hour. It's actually going to be a really nice day, especially with that breeze. It's going to be a little bit cooler too, even though it's 80 degrees. All right, and here we have the valley temperatures for the day. As you can see, all around, it's all gonna be in that 70-degree range, from 71 to 75 as we go out throughout the day. And here we have our weather headlines. As I said, it's gonna be sunny all day and it's gonna be partly cloudy later in the day, otherwise still very warm with those light wind speeds that we like. And then here we have our evening planner. So around 3 p.m., it's gonna be that high of 79 degrees. But as we go later in the evening, it's gonna jump down to that 65 degrees around midnight. And for tomorrow morning, our sunrise temperature is going to be 57 degrees with our sunrise at 6:28 a.m. Now, I think that's a really good time to, go outside, watch the sunrise, reenact a coming of age movie moment. So, and then our 7-day forecast. Throughout the week, it's gonna be in the low 80s and it's gonna rise slowly to the 90s by Tuesday next week. So it's gonna have that dramatic jump from about 10 degrees. So everyone, make sure you wear your sunscreen, make sure you wear a hat, stay protected from the sun. While our lows are gonna be in the 56 degrees up to the 61 degrees. So not too much of a dramatic change there except for the 90 degrees. All right, and after the break, we have a sit-down interview with a Las Vegas local helping to improve our community.
Mental illness is not always easy to see.
Third line, please.
DEPRESSION.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale. Bipolar? Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own.
Anxiety. I thought so.
Like many health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. And the sooner you seek treatment, the better.
Look at that. 6,000 steps and PTSD.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes, from loss of hope to hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Hi, welcome back. Today I have the pleasure to be on my right, someone that is active in our Las Vegas community, Miss China Hudson. How are you today, Miss China?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me here today.
So the reason why I wanted to highlight Miss China Hudson is because she is a very powerful woman in our Las Vegas community. If you guys didn't know, she recently got a holiday here in Las Vegas. Miss China, please explain it.
Okay, so the city of Las Vegas gave me a holiday for Black History Month. And so February 23rd is considered China Hudson Day for the work that I do in the community teaching African dance, African culture to the youth of the 89106 and the entire Las Vegas Valley.
Wow. Is culture an important part for you to spread in our community? I'm guessing more in the Black American.
Yes, I have this crazy idea that culture can solve everyone's problem. If a person has knows where their roots are from, what their history is, that they will not have a tendency to repeat the hardships that our community has suffered throughout the years. So I believe culture can just solve anything.
That's really powerful, and I feel like that can also break generational curses.
Absolutely. If a person can really just understand the truth of who they are, the essence of their spirit, know who we are, who we were as African people before we came to America, I believe that they will have a different sense of what they can give to the community today.
That's very nice. You also run a program, correct?
Exactly. I have a Girls' Rites of Passage program, which is based on African principles. So on the continent of Africa, there is a passage or a ritual called the Rites of Passage. Young men go through it, young girls go through it, and so when I traveled to the continent of Africa, I learned how to do that ceremony and that ritual, and I brought it back here to Las Vegas.
You've traveled to Africa?
Absolutely. I love the continent. I went to Ghana and Togo, and my next trip I'll be going to Nigeria and Benin.
So I remember we've talked before about your trip to Africa. Do you remember the story you told me about the monkeys?
Absolutely. So there is a historical monkey called the Malta monkey, and traditionally they live with people like we have cats and dogs. The Malta monkey live with humans, and so they were colonized, the village was colonized, and most of the monkeys were destroyed. But now through history, they were able to save some of the monkeys, and they've been reproducing. And so I was able to hang out with some of the Malta monkeys, and they were very highly intelligent creatures, almost reminded me of Planet of the Apes. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? But they're very intelligent, very friendly, a little standoffish at first, but once they feel your spirit and your essence, they become very friendly. So it was a great experience.
I love that story. I'm happy I got to hear it again.
Yes.
So how did you get back into learning your culture? Did that something happen in your upbringing or something you discovered on your own?
A combination of both. I grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood. We had no other cultures coming into our community. And so when I went to college, I purposely, intentionally went to a diverse university that didn't have a large African American population. And it was there that I experienced a lot of systematic racism, which made me, which forced me to learn deeper of who I was so I'd be able to combat that and know how to handle myself. And it's just been a journey after that.
So you mentioned the systemic racism challenges that you faced. Would you like to tell a story about about a specific incident of that?
Well, I have two actually. So my original major was biomedical engineering, which is a predominantly white male-dominated field. So I had a professor tell me, my first day of class, you're not going to pass my class. You just don't have the capabilities to do it. And so I was like, well, dang, okay. Well, hi, can I have a syllabus? And so the class was very hard. It was very challenging, but I was determined to prove him wrong. I passed with a D, but I passed. And so I forced him to teach me. So every time he had office hours, I was the first one there, and I made him teach me. And so it was a learning experience for the both of us. You know, he had a preconceived notion about who I was, and I just wanted to be a little bit, you know, revengeful. So making you teach me was my way of saying I deserve to be here.
Yeah, that makes sense. We only have time for one more question.
Great.
And what I would like to ask you is if you have any advice for anyone that is a woman that faces challenges or someone of color that they don't know their culture, what would you like to tell them?
I like to say that women are some of the most powerful creatures on the planet. And if you just sit with that in your spirit, you can accomplish anything. Women rock.
I can't argue with that.
Yes.
So next up, after the break, we'll be coming back with sports and entertainment, so stay tuned.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our technical skills, our math, our engineering skills. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills. You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
Third line, please.
DEPRESSION.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale. Bipolar? Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own.
Anxiety. I thought so.
Like many health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. And the sooner you seek treatment, the better.
Look at that. 6,000 steps and PTSD.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
UNLV football has already kicked off their 2022 season. Jacob Teller is going to tell us more.
UNLV football is set to begin spring training this week at the Fertitta Football Complex. The team will hold 15 practices from now until April 30th. One practice will be at Allegiant Stadium on April 23rd when the Rebels host their annual spring game. Coach Arroyo and the Rebels paired up with an organization called The Program, a corporate and collegiate leadership development training. The program is known for its Navy background that trains students into professionals who value accountability and succeeding as a unit. As their off-season training heats up, the Rebels look to elevate their game after their dismal 2021 season when they finished 2-10. The time to win is now. For Studio G, this is Jacob Teller.
The Rebels kick off their season on September 3rd against Idaho State.
Vegas now has its own Big Apple. Cirque du Soleil's new Mad Apple debuts a giant apple on the Strip. The spherical display was inflated in front of the Lady Liberty statue at the New York. The display will be up until the end of the show and the way it debuts at the end of May.
RevFest is coming back to the UNLV campus. The 5th annual festival is hosted by 91.5 KUNV, Rebel HC2, and Studio G reporter Quinell Jones has an exclusive interview with the headliner.
As RevFest comes back to UNLV since the first time since 2019, we want to see who around campus knows who our headliner is, Guapdad 4000. Let's go check it out. Do you know who Guapdad 4000? Do you know who that is?
No. Is it you?
Who Guapdad 4000 is?
I do not know who Guapdad 49000 is.
Guapdad 4000 is our headliner?
I do not know any of the artists. I plan on maybe doing a YouTube search the night before to get a little idea, but I do not know hardly any of the artists.
Guapdad 4000 is an Oakland-born rapper whose personality and humor is seen in his lyrics and on-stage presence. I asked about how he felt about being the headliner and performing at RevFest. His answer?
Man, I'm super excited. I've always loved UNLV logo.
Okay.
Because I don't care about sports like that. But I love the logo, so I'm familiar with the team just because of that. And I always love the merch. So I want to go out there and get some merch and and perform in that issue and have a blast.
Okay. Right.
Because that's where I'm at with it, man. I learned so much on this tour, and all my music that is out and is active is so tight and so ready for some college issue to go crazy. I can't complain at all. I am super excited to get there at the end of this month.
If you want to know more about Guapdad and all the other artists performing at RevFest, Come check it out on March 31st on Thursday and see all of them perform. This is Cornell Jones reporting for Studio G.
The Music and Art Festival will be held at the Student Union from 3 to 10 p.m. Entry is free, and you can register for the event on eventbrite.com. British boy band star Tom Parker has died at the age of 33. The Wanted singer had been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer in October 2020, but has been updating fans about his condition. His wife announced on Instagram about his passing, thanking all the Wanted fans for all the love and support they have been given throughout the 2 years that he's been diagnosed.
Actor Bruce Willis will be stepping away from the big screen due to health conditions. The Die Hard star was diagnosed with aphasia, a condition that affects one's ability to communicate. Willis's daughter took to Instagram to let fans know about his condition and how appreciative they are for the ongoing support. And for all the music lovers out there, the Grammys are set to take place here in the Valley this weekend. I had the chance to get an inside scoop on what to expect. I'm currently here at the MGM Grand, where they're going to be hosting the Grammys in Las Vegas for the first time ever on April 3rd here at the Garden Arena. The 64th Annual Grammy Awards are set to take place here in Las Vegas after being rescheduled as well as relocated from Los Angeles following a COVID-19 surge. It will be the first time the award show will take place in Vegas and will bring back a live audience following the socially distanced show back in 2021.
Yeah, well, we're excited to be in Las Vegas. We're excited to bring kind of the excellence around music and showcase what's gone on in the year in music and really honor the beautiful things that have happened in a really difficult time in society. So for us, it's a chance to celebrate, shine a light, and really come together around music in this amazing city.
Comedian and The Daily Show entertainer Trevor Noah will host for the second year straight. Performances will take place from Jon Batiste, who received 11 Grammy nominations, including Album of the Year for We Are, Billie Eilish, Chris Stapleton, Olivia Rodrigo, and many more. Foo Fighters were also set to perform, yet following Taylor Hawkins' passing last week, it remains currently unknown. K-pop group BTS were likewise amongst those announced to perform. However, only a few days before the show was set to take place, member Jungkook tested positive for COVID. How this will affect BTS's performance remains in the air. Additionally, the National Academy of the Recording Arts and Sciences has been taking COVID precautions accordingly and have been having their crew as well as press be tested every 2 days. The Grammys will be this Sunday, April 3rd. I'm Brianna De Leon reporting for Studio G.
The Grammys will be streamed live on demand as well on streaming services on CBS at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. That's where we're at. So, how did it feel to interview the CEO of the Grammys?
Honestly, it was quite a surprise. I was not expecting him. He just came out of nowhere.
Very surprising.
But he was honestly really great and a really good interviewee. So it was a blast, and I'm excited for the Grammys.
Who's your prediction for the winner of the Album of the Year?
Sorry?
Album of the Year. Who do you think is going to win Album of the Year?
I don't know. That's a really difficult one. What do you think?
I'm thinking probably Olivia Rodrigo, Sour. Also, in breaking news, we have hit 100 followers on our Instagram page. Congratulations, us. We're great. And we did it. We got 100 followers.
Yeah, broke those 3 digits.
3 digits, that's about it. And I don't know. Olivia Rodrigo, I think that's going to be great.
Yeah,
I think
going
she's
back
going to win
the Grammys,
Sour. Going back
I love
to the
Olivia Rodrigo. Obviously, she was nominated, and I think she will win her first Grammy. So
she's going to win her first
looking
Grammy. I
excited.
think she's around 19 years old.
Yeah.
I think that's her age. And overall, I
big
think it's
win
going
for
to be
women.
a successful night. It's going to be the first time in Las Vegas. It's going to be one of the greatest Grammys ever. I can already see it. And
yeah, that's
with
pretty
that,
much.
I think we're going to end our show. We'll be back tomorrow with more news and breaking news. Everything.
Yeah,
Las
thank
Vegas.
you for watching. I'm Brianna De Leon.
And I'm David Cruz. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye.